Well, it may not be the climax that most at home wanted, but it certainly could be a final to savour.
Having any of it.
We certainly won't use it as an excuse. This is Ronaldo. Bruno Fernandes, and in the way is Daily Blind.
Yeah, nice play, moving the ball across the pitch.
Up against De Ligt here. Whenever De Ligt makes a challenge, he tends to get it right.
He thought that'd bounce back off his man, but it didn't.
Danilo on the charge. Here is Ronaldo. Van Dijk.
And he couldn't resist that one when it bounced up in front of him.
Something a little different each time. And Cillessen able to plunge and pounce. It was Jose Fonte who got his head to it in the end.
I said he'd
By. Balls away at Bernardo Silva. He's got help. Bruno Fernandes.
Well, that's 3 shots on goal he's had now, Fernandes. Portugal certainly will be the happier of the
Fernandes. William Carvalho, Rafael Guerreiro up there. Nelson Semedo. Oh, it falls away. Bernardo Silva again. Bruno Fernandes. Well, he's not getting any closer.
Well, you see from the expression of Bernardo Silva, they'll feel, the Portugal lads, they should be ahead by now. The positions they've got into, the opportunities they've had. It's not like they've had a...
Bruno Fernandes once more. Bernardo Silva. Oh, and it was a very important challenge by De Jong. Just did enough there. Ronaldo. Away from Denzel Dumfries. It's opened up. Another effort on target. And on again, Nelson Semedo. Oh. Post. That's an interesting one tonight because only 2 centre-backs are on the pitch. Well, Portugal with less possession are certainly causing the greater threat. Ronaldo warming the hands of Jasper Cillessen. Bruno Fernandes always fancying an effort on goal, and no wonder with 33 to his name at club level this season. But at half-time in the UEFA Nations League final, it is goalless. Very interesting season at Sevilla, Quincy Promes. Played as a wing-back, even as a full-back, as well as sometimes an out-and-out striker this season.
Well, it certainly had an impact when he came on against England. Really did make a difference, gave them something different.
To Depay. Well, immediately it's looking brighter.
I think Portugal.
Germany also in that group. Into Ronaldo once more. He'll fall the way of Depay. Wijnaldum is onside. The flag has stayed down. But Rui Patricio produces when he needed to.
Yeah, the flag's gone up now. He always waits these days, the linesman, for the move to play out. It's a really frustrating move, I think, because you never quite know. He probably knew, Ronaldo, but he's just got to go ahead with it. And
Ganesh. Van Dijk reading the situation again.
He did ever so well, Ronaldo, to keep that move going.
Oh, have they sprung the trap here? Bernardo Silva. Oh, an urgent action from De Ligt.
You don't often see that happen. There's a big gap down that right-hand channel. He knew he was onside.
Oh, and Van Dijk won the battle in there, and it was important he did. Guerrero. Ganesh. Well, very, very significant challenge there from Steven Bergwijn, and a fair one.
Yeah, it made some ground, the ref, to get fairly close to it. Well, it's the Portugal.
Much coveted Ajax talent. Oh, great work by Ganesh. Bernardo Silva. Ganesh! Breakthrough! An outpouring of joy in Porto! Portugal strike first in the Nations League final.
And what a strike it was as well from Guedes. Beautifully struck. Right in the corner it appeared to be. The little nutmeg here that opens up the gap. It's not an easy chance by any means, and Silerson might feel he could have done better here. But Bernardo, like he did, it is a save you would expect him to make. But he was agile there. Unselfish balls to teammates.
Promise will get there. Daley Blind. In comes Denzel Dumfries, and Rafael Guerrero made it his. Free kick awarded in his favour, but a brave and vital piece of defending.
Yeah.
Wijnaldum. I was going to say typical William Carvalho stuff, but it does result in a free kick.
Yeah, Devon saw that challenge coming. The body in the...
Promise to Depay. Denzel Dumfries well forward. Rafa Silva being ushered forward by Fernando. The blame, Bernardo Silva trying to make his way through.
It's a hard man to stop, Bernardo Silva.
Hey. Blind, Promise. Oh, and Daron coming onto it. Oh, an opportunity to at least test the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Just to keep it down, coming onto it.
Equalised before they could enact that plan, and then decided they didn't need to. Oh, brilliant effort from Bruno Fernandes, but straightforward in the end for Silerson.
Got a good shot on him, hasn't he? He's had about 4 or 5 out there tonight.
Very unfamiliar role, and he's matched him, and up he goes.
So he's here, the referee, and up there, centrally on the edge of the box.
What a chance on here for Nelson Semedo. Well, it's the right back this time. He's slowly moving back towards his feet. Ball in from Promise. Rui Patricio happy to eke out, though that is a definitive change. This is Rafa Silva. Beautifully away from Frenkie de Jong. And not from Denzel Dumfries, who will receive a bit of further punishment here.
Rafa Silva shown his ability with the ball on his feet, really just moved quickly across the turf. Good close control, much of a wall. I think sometimes that's the best policy, make sure the keeper can get a decent view of it.
Here it goes. For De Blind. And that's Rui Patricio's and one of the biggest cheers of the night.
What if one of the favourites to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup starts its campaign against one of the tournament's biggest underdog stories? On one side, Portugal, a team packed with world-class talent led by a football icon who's chasing one final dream before walking away from the biggest stage forever. On the other side, DR Congo, a nation that waited more than half a century to return to the World Cup and now arrives with absolutely nothing to lose. Most fans expect a comfortable Portugal victory. Most experts predict the same. But World Cups are built on moments that nobody sees coming. And if history has taught us anything, it's that football doesn't care about predictions. So could Cristiano Ronaldo begin his final World Cup journey with a statement performance? Or are the Leopards preparing to shock the football world? Let's find out. Portugal enter this tournament carrying enormous expectations. For years, people have looked at Portugal and said the same thing. They have great players, but can they put it all together? Now many believe they finally have. The reason is simple. This may be the most complete Portuguese squad ever assembled. Think about the balance of this team. In midfield, they have creativity, control, intelligence, and experience. Bruno Fernandes remains one of the most dangerous chance creators in world football. Vitinha has evolved into one of the game's most elegant midfield conductors, capable of controlling the rhythm of an entire match. Bernardo Silva brings endless movement and technical brilliance. Then there is Rafael Leao, a player capable of turning a quiet game into chaos within seconds. And behind them stands a defense loaded with quality. Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes, João Neves, players who can compete with anyone on the planet. But no discussion about Portugal can begin anywhere else. Cristiano Ronaldo. At 41 years old, he arrives at what is expected to be his final FIFA World Cup. Think about that for a moment. A player who debuted internationally more than 2 decades ago is still leading his nation into football's biggest tournament. Entire generations of players have come and gone during Ronaldo's career. Managers changed, tactics evolved, football transformed. Yet somehow, Ronaldo remains. For many fans, this World Cup is about more than winning matches. It's about witnessing the final chapter of one of the greatest careers football has ever seen. The question everyone is asking is simple. Can he still deliver on the biggest stage? Some critics argue Portugal are more dynamic without him. Others believe his leadership, positioning, and experience remain priceless. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. What nobody can deny is that Ronaldo still knows how to score goals. And in tournament football, that alone can change everything. But here's what makes Portugal particularly dangerous. This team no longer depends entirely on Ronaldo. Years ago, if Ronaldo struggled, Portugal struggled. Today, that's no longer the case. Bruno Fernandes can decide games. Vitinha can dominate games. Leao can explode past defenders. Bernardo Silva can unlock defenses. Portugal now have multiple paths to victory. That makes them one of the most feared teams in the tournament. Yet despite all the talent, there is pressure. Huge pressure. Because Portugal are no longer considered outsiders. They are considered genuine contenders. Anything less than a deep run will disappoint supporters. And that pressure arrives from the very first match. Now let's turn our attention to a team whose journey could not be more different. DR Congo. For younger football fans, their World Cup story feels almost unbelievable. Their previous appearance came all the way back in 1974. Think about how much football has changed since then. Entire footballing eras have passed, legends have risen and retired, World Cups have come and gone, and through all of it, DR Congo waited, year after year, qualification campaign after qualification campaign, near misses, disappointments, heartbreak. Then finally, they broke through. And they didn't do it the easy way. Their qualification journey was one of the most dramatic stories in African football. They battled through powerful opponents, they survived pressure-packed matches, and somehow they emerged with a World Cup ticket in hand. For the players, this isn't just another tournament. This is history. These players have already become national heroes before kicking a single ball at the World Cup. But what makes DR Congo truly dangerous isn't emotion, it's talent. Many casual fans underestimate this squad because it lacks global superstars. That would be a mistake. This team is filled with players competing in top European leagues. They are athletic, disciplined, aggressive in transition, and extremely difficult to break down. Leading the defense is Chancel Mbemba, one of Africa's most reliable defenders over the past decade. His experience could prove invaluable against Portugal's attack. Then there's Yoane Wissa, the pace, the movement, the ability to attack space. If DR Congo get opportunities on the counter-attack, Wissa will likely be at the center of them. Aaron Van Bissaka adds defensive quality and recovery speed. And throughout the squad, there is a belief that few teams possess. Because unlike Portugal, DR Congo enter this match with zero pressure. Nobody expects them to win. And sometimes, that freedom can be incredibly dangerous. As kickoff approaches in Houston, the tactical battle becomes fascinating. Portugal will almost certainly dominate possession. They look to control territory, control tempo, control the game. DR Congo will likely welcome that because their biggest opportunities may come when Portugal push too many players forward. One mistake, one counter-attack, one moment of hesitation. That's often all it takes in World Cup football. And there is one particular battle that could decide everything. Portugal's attacking stars against DR Congo's defensive organization. If the Leopards can survive the early pressure, frustration could begin to creep into the Portuguese side. And that's when things get interesting. Because football history is filled with favorites who thought victory would come automatically. The question is, will Portugal avoid that trap? Or could DR Congo create one of the biggest stories of the opening round? Because when we return, we'll dive deeper into the tactical matchups, key players to watch, score predictions, and the one shocking scenario that could completely change Group K. We explored the contrast between Portugal's superstar-filled squad and DR Congo's inspiring underdog journey. Now it's time to look at what might actually happen when these teams step onto the field. Let's start with the midfield battle. This is where Portugal hold perhaps their biggest advantage. Modern football is often decided by who controls the center of the pitch, and few teams in the tournament can match Portugal in this department. Vitinha has become one of the most intelligent midfielders in world football. His ability to receive under pressure, escape tight spaces, and dictate tempo is extraordinary. Alongside him, Bruno Fernandes constantly searches for opportunities to create danger. Most players see passes, Bruno sees possibilities. That combination could create major problems for DR Congo. The challenge for the African side will be preventing Portugal from establishing rhythm. If Portugal settle into possession comfortably, they become extremely difficult to stop. Expect DR Congo to stay compact. Expect them to close passing lanes. Expect them to make Portugal work for every chance. And that's where patience becomes crucial. One thing tournament football repeatedly teaches us is that early goals change everything. If Portugal score within the opening 20 minutes, the game could open dramatically. DR Congo would be forced to take more risks. Spaces would appear. Portugal's attacking talent could take advantage. But if the score remains level deep into the first half, pressure begins to grow, doubt begins to appear, and suddenly the underdog starts believing. That psychological battle may be just as important as any tactical battle. Now let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Because regardless of age, regardless of form, regardless of debate, all eyes will be on him. Every touch, every shot, every movement will be analyzed. This tournament carries special significance. Football fans know they are watching the final World Cup appearance of an icon. Players often rise to extraordinary levels during moments like these, and Ronaldo has built his entire career on proving doubters wrong. A goal in this match would not simply help Portugal win. It would become another chapter in one of football's greatest stories. Yet there is another player who could quietly become Portugal's most important performer, Vitinha. Many casual fans focus on Ronaldo. Many focus on Bruno Fernandes. But Vitinha might be the engine that powers everything. If he controls the midfield, Portugal control the match. It's that simple. For DR Congo, the key man may be Yoane Wissa. Against stronger opponents, chances often arrive in limited numbers. When they come, they must be taken. Vissa's pace and directness offer the most realistic route toward an upset. If Portugal's defensive line pushes high, he could find the space needed to create something special. Another fascinating factor is emotion. Portugal are expected to win. DR Congo are expected to compete. Those expectations create completely different mental environments. Portugal carry pressure. DR Congo carry freedom. And throughout World Cup history, freedom has produced some remarkable surprises. Remember, the World Cup is not simply a competition of talent. It's a competition of belief. Some of the greatest shocks ever witnessed happened because one team believed while the other assumed. That is why Portugal cannot afford complacency, not even for a moment. Now let's make a prediction. On paper, Portugal possess superior quality in almost every area. They have more experience at the highest level, more depth, more creativity, more match winners. Over 90 minutes, those advantages are difficult to ignore. However, DR Congo are unlikely to make things easy. Expect a disciplined defensive performance. Expect physical battles. Expect moments where Portugal are forced to remain patient. The first half could be tighter than many expect, but eventually Portugal's quality should begin to tell. A clever pass from Bruno Fernandes, a midfield breakthrough from Vitinha, a decisive finish from Ronaldo or Leao. Those moments are what separate contenders from underdogs. My prediction, Portugal 2-0 DR Congo. A professional performance rather than a spectacular one. A result that gives Portugal the perfect start while reminding everyone that World Cup victories are rarely straightforward. For DR Congo, even defeat would not end the dream. The battle for qualification often extends far beyond the opening match, and this team has already shown remarkable resilience throughout their journey. But for Portugal, this game represents the first step towards something much bigger, a possible World Cup title, a final Ronaldo story, and perhaps the realization of a dream generations of Portuguese fans have waited to see. The stage is set, Houston is ready, millions will be watching, one team chasing glory, one team chasing history, and when the whistle blows, only one thing is certain. The World Cup never follows the script for long. That's why we watch, that's why we believe, and that's why Portugal versus DR Congo could be far more memorable than anyone expects.